Oh my goodness. Major Arizona Cardinals rumors on trading for Shedeur Sanders. We look at that on today's show. Before we start and dive into all these rumors and what they look like, I want to know in the comments section, would you, Cardinals fans, would you want Shedeur Sanders on this football team? If you would, type Y for yes in the comments section. If you don't want it, then type N for no down below, and let's get into this video. Welcome into Cardinals Today, presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Joey O'Donoghue, and as I said, we are diving into these Shedeur Sanders trade rumors that have just come about specifically for the Arizona Cardinals side of things. Let's start with the actual Sanders rumors, and then we'll get to the link to Arizona. So how this has all started and come about. Essentially, ESPN Cleveland, their host, said that a source told him there are talks and ongoing calls about the availability of Shedeur Sanders right now. Could the Cardinals be one of those teams that are calling up? I mean, you think about a team that needs a quarterback right now. The Cardinals and Jets are at the forefront of that list. They should come to everybody's mind when you think of a team that needs to go out and get a quarterback solution before week one, given the Geno Smith and Jacoby Brissett situations going on respectively. And then an NFL insider, so not even just a radio host now we're talking about an actual insider from ESPN, Jeremy Fowler, said that if Shedeur Sanders were to lose the job in Cleveland, it would be interesting to see how he handles that. If the Browns feel like there's some tension there, maybe they do try to facilitate a trade. And so as it stands right now, Deshaun Watson is the favorite to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And this isn't just odds makers, but every single insider is saying Deshaun Watson has the inside track. Ian Rappaport predicts Deshaun Watson's going to start, and so that would leave Shedeur Sanders perhaps disgruntled as a backup once again, because remember, he didn't want to be a backup. The Ravens, the Eagles tried to draft him, and he told them no because he doesn't want to be a backup for his career. Where would he have an opportunity to start? Cleveland, Arizona, New York. Maybe some of the only teams that could. And from Arizona's perspective, from their side of things, Jacoby Brissett is still holding out. He is the guy that the Cardinals want to be the week one starter. If they can't come to an agreement, and the reports are that they are far away from one in these negotiations, then the Cardinals might just say, bite the bullet and say, all right, well, we don't need you because Jacoby Brissett's not the future of this team. They want a young quarterback for the future. And so, in that breath, Shedeur kind of makes sense to be a starter for this year. And he wouldn't be too expensive to trade for. And I'll say this about Shedeur Sanders. I understand he's a polarizing player. I understand he's controversial. People either really believe in him or people either think he shouldn't be in the NFL. And I think both sides can be a little extreme sometimes. But from an objective standpoint, watching the film, Shedeur Sanders showed he can start in the National Football League. I promise you that. And so why the Cardinals should do this? First of all, he's way more exciting for a fan base, for a team to put out there on the field than Jacoby Brissett is. After Brissett won one game last year. I'm not even kidding. You know that. Shedeur at least provides some intrigue, some excitement, and brings fans to your team, not to mention the jersey sales, the ticket sales, which the owner will love, Michael Bidwell. If Shedeur's not good, fine. Cardinals will get a great draft pick next year then, and they'll draft the guy they really want early in the 2027 NFL draft class, which is stacked at the quarterback position. Plus, if he's really bad, the Cardinals could just turn to Carson Beck, who I know Cardinals fans want to see start anyways. Point is, makes sense. He'll either be decent and you just got a quarterback for a bargain price, or Cardinals will just be as bad as they probably will be with Brissett anyway. And you can just use this season to test out the QBs. And something that is working for Shedeur Sanders, because remember, he was projected to be a first-round pick, all right? So this is good value. Last year's Browns team that he was on, second worst offensive line in the league, according to PFF, worst wide receiver room in the league, and bad scheme fit for him. So I think a new, fresh system like the Cardinals could do him justice. We'll talk more about it and talk about what you'd have to give up to get Shedeur Sanders. Before we do that, though, let's give a special shout-out to our good friends over at PrizePicks. I actually want to show you guys the PrizePicks lineup that I have cooked up for the football season, though, because studying the Cardinals, I think I have a good pick here for Jeremiah Love. I'm going to pick the less on his rushing yards because about 1,000 rushing yards, that's really hard to do as a rookie, and Love's going to get a lot of receiving work. So I think scrimmage yards will be great, but I'm going to go less on rushing yards specifically. I don't think a lot of people are going to take that off the bat. I'm also going to pick the more on Jordan Tyson's receiving yards. I think he gets involved a lot in that offense as a rookie, and the less on Mendoza game started. Las Vegas has been clear they want to let Mendoza rest. They signed Kirk Cousins to a fat deal to be their starter for this year, and that's a Tom Brady thing, is let the young quarterbacks develop and rest. So I see that for the Raiders. It's almost like what the Cardinals are trying to do with Carson Beck, is let him rest behind a veteran. Those are my picks. It's a $20 entry, and they pay out $120, guys. You can play alongside all of us at Chat Sports and get $50 when you play your first $5 entry with code HMA. That's code HMA to get $50 on lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Link is also available in the comments and description of today's video. My take, I think Shedeur showed flashes in that awful situation in Cleveland. Listen, there were a lot of really good ups, and there were a lot of brutal downs and questionable decisions, okay? It was a roller coaster, absolutely. But I think he could be serviceable with the Arizona Cardinals' offensive weapons. Because believe it or not, and the Cardinals have gone out and drafted Chase Basantis, starting offensive lineman for them now, went out free agency, signed Isaac Seumalo, who I'm really excited about for this football team. You've got Paris Johnson Jr. Like, there's pieces on the O-line now. It's better than it was last year, and there's way more receiving options than there were in Cleveland. Like, I think Shedeur could actually be serviceable, and to my point, be more exciting, at least around the level of play that Brissett would give you. Shedeur did make the Pro Bowl, too. I will throw that out there. I don't know, it might not have been 100% because of his play. I get it. Just thought I'd throw it out there. As a rookie, he made the Pro Bowl. The numbers, though, as I said, up and down, right? 7 touchdowns, but 10 interceptions. 1,400 yards in his 7 starts, 8 games played total. It really was a roller coaster season, and perhaps he does need a fresh system and get rid of that Stefanski offense that they tried to instill in him early, which just doesn't fit his play style. Nothing like he did at Colorado either. And another Browns reporter actually said that this doesn't mean the Browns have ruled out trading Shedeur at the end of camp. Everyone has a price, and the Browns would undoubtedly listen to offers for him if Watson wins the starting job. Well, what would that price be? What should the Arizona Cardinals offer to get Shedeur Sanders? Let's talk about his value. It is tough to assess and pinpoint an exact value for Shedeur Sanders because of the ups and downs that I mentioned, but I will say it will probably be pretty cheap at the moment when you factor in the fact that every single NFL team passed on Shedeur Sanders for 5 rounds in the 2025 NFL Draft, despite analysts telling us he could have been the first overall pick in that draft. He's 24 years old, so he's a young quarterback who is developing. And to my point earlier in the show, he has an entire fan base that would come with him to the team. So from an owner's perspective, that's jersey sales, that's ticket sales, that's people watching your team, that's primetime games perhaps if Shedeur starts for a couple years in Arizona, right? So it's tough to pinpoint a draft pick, but given that NFL teams wouldn't use higher than a 5th on him until the Cleveland Browns came around at pick 144, you can't project that this is high value. There's no way the Cardinals would have to give up a 1st, a 2nd, or a 3rd to get Shedeur Sanders. A 4th is probably pushing it at this point, too. And if it's a situation where Shedeur is angry and wants out, that's even lower value because there's no leverage for the Cleveland Browns. So now it's a late-round pick. That's all you have to give up to get Sanders in here, who's a capable starter in the league, I believe. It's a late-ish pick. Could argue a pick swap, but I'll be fair. I'll say it's a 5th-round pick. If the trade idea looks like this, the Cardinals take Shedeur Sanders from the Browns, and all they have to do is give up a 2027 5th-round pick. Would you do that? Let me know in the comment section if you would accept this trade. If you would, type A for accept. If you don't want any part of it, that's fine. I'm open to all opinions in my comment section, so type D for decline. But personally, I'm taking this deal. So let me know in the comment section if you would accept it. A for accept, D for decline. Now, that's a trade idea that I thought of, but Bleacher Report has a completely different idea for the Cardinals to get Shedeur, and it's a wild one. Buckle up, grab your popcorn. It is a weird trade from Bleacher Report, okay? That's the next thing I'm about to show you. But also, today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. Let's give a special shout-out to them. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options than a sporting event right now. Use code CHAT10 to get 10% off your next set of tickets. MLB's in full swing. The NFL schedule is out already, and you can now get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek. This could be a once-in-a-lifetime experience to go to a World Cup game while it is in America. For me, I'm looking at those Cardinals home games, though. They have 9 home games. Jeremiah Love's rookie season is going to be electric to watch in person. You don't want to miss that if you live in Arizona, and SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And, of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. The Bleacher Report trade idea is as follows. The Patriots get in on this action to receive Michael Wilson from the Cardinals. And then Arizona gets Shedeur Sanders. They get Kayshon Boutte, who is the Patriots wide receiver, heavily coming up in trade rumors lately. Also, they get the Browns 2027 4th-round pick. Cleveland gets Jacoby Brissett. So Brissett's moved in this deal as well. And the Patriots 2027 3rd-round pick. Not bad for Cleveland, but take a look at it. Get your opinions down below. This is what Bleacher Report had to say on it. Arizona Cardinals receiver Michael Wilson had a breakout campaign in 2025, finishing with over 1,000 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. However, he's entering the final year of his rookie deal and may not be getting an extension this offseason. According to ESPN's Dan Graziano, New England received calls on Boutte since acquiring A.J. Brown from the Eagles. Sanders is supposedly competing with Deshaun Watson for Cleveland's starting job, but there has been speculation that he isn't in the Browns' long-term plans. Why would the Cardinals trade Michael Wilson in this at all? Why are we getting the Patriots involved? To give up, honestly, Wilson was the best receiver in Arizona last year. He was. I don't know, understand that part of it. Brissett, though, for Shedeur is interesting. Perhaps there's framework for a deal centered around putting Brissett back in Cleveland and bringing Shedeur to Arizona, and the draft picks can work themselves out in that nature, but this could easily still be a 2-team deal with just the Cardinals and the Browns. But I'm not trading Michael Wilson to bring Kayshon Boutte over to Arizona. Sure, Boutte could be an up-and-coming young wide receiver that maybe needs a chance to get more volume. I don't care. We've seen Michael Wilson with more volume, who's a young receiver that just had 1,000 yards. I mean, look at the numbers on your screen. What are we talking about here? I don't understand why Bleacher Report's adding this element of the deal. To me, Michael Wilson deserves an extension in Arizona. We'll see how he plays next year, and we'll see if Marvin Harrison Jr. can become what we thought he would become as the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft. That remains to be seen. Mike LaFleur seems optimistic, but I'm not touching that deal. I think we should just talk about getting Sanders for a cheap draft pick, maybe a flip Brissett for Shedeur if Brissett keeps causing all this commotion, and then you don't have much trade value because Brissett wants a new deal. Think about it from that stance, not the Bleacher Report stance. But that'll do it for today's Cardinals Today episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I'll keep you updated if any trades do come to fruition, all right? So turn those notifications on, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified when the Cardinals make a move. Appreciate you all for tuning into this episode, and I'll see you next time.